Welcome to the Sci-Fi Evolution channel. The Galactic Council extended its initial invitation to Terra, making humanity a new member of the prestigious universal community. The invitation was based not on admiration or recognition, but on the Council's rule that all new species capable of FTL travel should be granted temporary membership. Thus, Terra was reluctantly accepted, like a child at a social event, invited out of duty, not out of admiration. The diplomatic event aboard the Council's flagship, the Shining Omega, was an exciting sight. The event was hosted by Ambassador Plum Zvezny from the Xylar Dominion, a species resembling humanoid flamingos with a penchant for drama. His shimmering feather crest quivered as he addressed the representatives of Terra, Captain Eric West and Chief Engineer Zoya Cox. In recognition of Terra's outstanding achievements in the exploration of the stars, Flame the Star proclaimed with a theatrical flourish, "We grant you the honorary title of Associate Member of the Galactic Council. You, the illustrious Celestial Odyssey, a vessel of illustrious lineage." The veil lifted, revealing a view that resembled not so much a spaceship as the worst self-made universal project. The Celestial Odyssey looked like it had become the victim of a heated dispute with a landfill, with its corroded plates sticking out at random angles. The hull glistened with mismatched paint, and the main engine made a sound suspiciously similar to a groaning accordion on its last legs. Captain West maintained his composure, but a slight twitch in his right eye betrayed his inner turmoil. Clenching his jaw, he said, "Chief Engineer Cox." She couldn't help but giggle. "It seems to be based on malice and cosmic glue." Flame Starlight's feather flickered with barely contained merriment. "We believe that it will greet your development with a subtle bow." The delegation departed, leaving people standing in stunned silence while the Celestial Odyssey made a sound like the gurgle of a dying whale. At least the harp has a soul. Their examination revealed the spacecraft was on the verge of collapse. The control panel sparkled with indignation. The contours of the counteraction mysteriously hissed. The fumes and the constant drip echoed ominously from the ceiling, despite being in a vacuum environment. Their researcher, Dr. Liam Wong, scanned the reactor and frowned. "This energy signature shouldn't even exist," he muttered. "She hesitates, as if she's thinking." Lieutenant Sam Ritter, their weapons specialist, leaned on a broken console, which immediately collapsed under his weight. "I would feel safer in a cardboard box with fireworks tied on," he said, despite the decrepitude of the console. The core of the ship pulsed with an inexplicable rhythm, as if challenging them to unravel its secrets. By the end of the day, Captain West addressed his crew with grim determination. "The Confederation gave us this rusty trough to make fun of us. Okay, we'll turn it into something they'll never forget." I smiled, already imagining the dismantling of the entire ship, wondering what would happen when people showed their ingenuity. The dubious gift of humanity became the galaxy's greatest mistake, or, as history would later call it, a cosmic flaw. The crew of the Celestial Odyssey embarked on their task with a mixture of desperation, determination, and what Chief Engineer Zoe Cox called stubbornness. The ship's condition ranged from a broken wreck to a galactic crime scene, but that only fueled their resolve. Engineering Bay 1 became the epicenter of their unconventional restoration project. It wasn't so much a repair job as a mad scientist's lab, where sparks flew, wires tangled like angry snakes, and caffeine flowed like life-giving plasma. "This is not a repair, boss," said Lieutenant Sam Ritter, holding up a mangled cooling regulator that resembled a work of modern art. "It's an evolution through aggressive negotiation." The ship's navigation system was malfunctioning, and the computer was completely useless. "He was as powerful as a toaster, but with self-esteem," he said, kicking the faulty console. "We need to fix this." Dr. Liam Wong, the world's leading quantum physicist, gazed in awe at the mysterious energy core of the ship. "It doesn't just generate energy," he muttered. "It transforms it." His eyes glittered with an unholy charm. "We have to learn how to communicate with him." Meanwhile, Captain Eric West was dealing with the Interstellar Alliance bureaucracy. The Sky ship was technically on probation, so they had to report progress without revealing how much their modifications had deviated from course. He has developed a talent for presenting ambiguous reports, using terms such as alternative system integration and adaptive infrastructure reconfiguration. The moment of revelation came when Cox and Wong revealed the true essence of the energy core. It was not just a reactor, but a portal to an alternate reality. The device, capable of bending the very fabric of space-time, emitted irregular energy signatures. These were not malfunctions, but complex equations in motion, waiting for someone smart or brave enough to decipher them. "This ship is not broken," Wong declared after a thorough analysis of the exotic physics that would make several Nobel laureates faint. "It is incomplete, and our task is to complete it." Cox stared at the glowing core, its pulsations matching a mysterious rhythm. "They've given us the most dangerous puzzle in the universe." She thought about it. "Let's see what kind of painting will appear when we finish it." Ritter was soldering something that probably violated numerous interstellar security protocols. "As long as the picture doesn't end with us accidentally summoning a black hole." I was in a state of constant activity, with a series of rapid changes, bold experiments, and narrowly avoided disasters. The ship's navigation system was upgraded using a combination of Terran artificial intelligence and alien spatial algorithms, as a result of which the computer not only predicted future events, but also anticipated distortions in reality before they occurred. The reactor's output was redirected through quantum-aligned crystals that convert random pulses into controlled energy. Wong called it physics persuasion, while Cox preferred the term reality manipulation. Their most innovative improvement was something they were reluctant to label. Wong explained during the test run that the spatial disturbance array is not a weapon. It is rather an accurate suggestion of reality. When activated, the ship's systems synchronize into a harmonious flow, creating a local burst of space-time distortions that transform nearby asteroids into perfect geometric shapes. The crew stood in stunned silence as boulders the size of small moons rearranged themselves like cosmic dominoes. West, watching from the bridge, exhaled in awe, realizing that despite its sinister origins, the heavenly force had evolved into something much bigger than its creators had imagined. The ingenuity of the crew turned what should have been a curse into an asset that no one could have predicted. One evening, Cox and West stood side by side on the observation deck, looking up at the stars that danced softly around the newly stabilized hull of the ship. West wondered aloud, "Do you think the X-rays knew what they were giving us, boss? They seriously underestimated our ability for chaotic-based engineering," Cox replied. The ship hung below them, its systems flowing with a playful rhythm, like an animal stretching after a long imprisonment. They still didn't fully understand the nature of the celestial odyssey, but they were getting close, and the galaxy was about to discover the true extent of human ingenuity as it faces a challenge designed to break us. An experiment of one kind was about to become another's nightmare. 3 months after the start of the project, the celestial odyssey was transformed beyond recognition. The mismatched plates still gave the ship a worn look, but something was changing underneath. At first glance, it was a technological miracle. On the brink of cosmic heresy, what was once a technological nightmare has now become a masterpiece forged from the desperation and boundless ingenuity of humanity. Captain Eric West looked through the latest reports with a growing sense of pride and impending doom. The ship's capabilities were expanding at an alarming rate, and while it was exciting, it also meant they were playing with powers no species had ever dared wield. Chief Engineer Zoya Cox practically lived in the engineering bay, organizing a ruthless campaign of upgrades and adjustments. "We've gone from innovation to probably illegal activities in multiple star systems," she confessed one night while calibrating quantum lattice stabilizers. Meanwhile, Dr. Liam Wong has delved into the mysterious energy core of the ship. He had long abandoned traditional physics and was now developing theories that could lead to his being burned as a heretic in any respected scientific community. The scientific publication I've read suggests that the core of the ship doesn't just generate energy, Wong explained during a tense briefing. It learns every time we push its limits, and it adapts and evolves with us. Lieutenant Sam Ritter now leads what can only be described as an experiment in applied physics with a military bent. Great job. But can it stop evolving long enough for us to test the new spatial disintegrator? The last time it adapted, we accidentally teleported the cargo hold 3 meters to the left. But despite the risks, their progress was undeniable. They harness the power of a reality-altering energy core in a set of systems that no starship in known space can match. Their crowning achievement is an array of spatial manipulation capable of bending space and time itself into a directional force. Technically, Wong explained during a system demonstration, we don't attack targets, we move them very much. In real-world trials, simulated enemy vessels were displaced. Over vast distances, they twisted into spirals of impossible geometry or simply became convinced that their current location was unsuitable. The ship's navigation system has evolved by integrating alien predictive algorithms with human pattern recognition. This fusion has created a quantum-based AI that can easily navigate through gravitational distortions, like a swimmer effortlessly gliding through water. During the test flight, the ship performed maneuvers that defied all known physical laws. At one point, they performed a maneuver known as reality shuffling, when the Celestial Odyssey performed a spatial twist that caused half of their surveillance drones to report alternate timelines before exploding in confusion. That's probably acceptable, Cox said with a hint of concern, but their progress didn't go unnoticed. On the periphery of the human-controlled territory, the Xyler scout ships became more and more daring. It was obvious that the so-called gift had been discovered. It was more of a tactical test than a diplomatic gesture. The Xylers expected humans to either fail or collapse in an attempt to reverse engineer an unreachable ship. They did not expect success, and reports began to arrive from the Allied worlds about the mobilization of Xyler fleets. The Council's diplomatic position was getting colder by the day, and the message was clear. Humanity had failed to accept its subordinate position. One evening aboard the Celestial Odyssey, Captain West gathered the senior staff for a final readiness briefing. They were almost ready for the operation, but the looming threat from the Xyler could not be ignored. "They're coming for us," West said gloomily, pacing the bridge like a predator in a cage. "They may not admit it, but they can't let us leave this ship. We've become unpredictable," Ritter said, cracking his knuckles. "So what's the plan? Wait for them to show up," West replied, "Steal it," in his tone. "We will show them the true nature of unpredictability." The pulse of everyone to combat stations was steady and confident. West ordered, "It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity." The ship's systems came alive, and the universe seemed to hold its breath. The Celestial Odyssey was ready. The Xyler Dominion War Fleet emerged from FTL in perfect military formation. It was a huge armada of 300 warships positioned like a space fan, ready to strike with their flagship. The pride of the Empire shone with power, its hull shimmering with protective energy fields that could deflect even the most advanced weapons known to the Galactic Council. From the command bridge of the Celestial Odyssey, Captain Eric West watched as the enemy fleet formed a deadly crescent at the edge of the Sol system. Their intention was clear: overwhelming force, followed by unconditional surrender or annihilation. West spoke in a flat voice, and his chief engineer, Zoya Cox, answered with a crackling voice. From Engineering Compartment 1, over the intercom, "We are reporting that the reactor core is functioning normally, albeit with a slight hum, as if it is preparing for a performance. The weapon systems are fully charged, and the spatial array is operating at maximum capacity. While Lieutenant Sam Ritter, Chief of Tactical Systems, grinned from his station. The weapon was locked in hot aim mode, and if they even sneeze in our direction, we politely ask reality to reconsider their existence. Dr. Liam Wong adjusted his interface with the ship's quantum predictive array, his fingers dancing across the glowing console. The Xyler ships have been scanning us, but they haven't expected anything special yet. West allowed himself a small smile. The Sky ship still looked like an abandoned pile, as it was intended. Let the Xylers think they've come across a broken relic. The surprise was humanity's oldest weapon. The transfer of the 11 LOR fleet cut through comm channels. Grand Admiral Solaris Plum appeared on the screen, his extravagant plumage spreading like a living halo. His voice, steeped in regal arrogance, addressed the Terran ship Heavenly Odyssey. Your disobedience has been noticed, but surrender immediately, and we may consider sparing your world. The Grand Admiral generously granted them this vessel, allowing them to respond fully. Before Flame the Star could respond, West quickly executed the maneuver. West's hands moved with precision, activating the spatial distortion array, causing reality to distort. The celestial vessel shimmered, breaking up into dozens of flickering images before reassembling, only to appear behind the rear formation of the 11 LOR fleet. The 11 LOR command crew exploded in startled screams. "That's impossible!" exclaimed Plum Starry. "No ships can fire." West ordered Ritter. He released a controlled pulse from the spatial manipulation array, creating a luminous wave that distorted space. The 3 Xyler cruisers were engulfed for a moment. Reality itself split apart, and when the distortion dissipated, the ships disappeared. What just happened? West demanded to see Wong's testimony. His voice was full of surprise. The ships of the AI fleet responded with lightning precision, splitting into attacking formations and unleashing a barrage of high-energy plasma beams and quantum disintegrators, heading for the celestial vessel. West shouted, "Wong, activate the ship's quantum displacement engine." Wong complied, and the celestial vessel performed a series of impossible turns and space-bending maneuvers. Enemy shells passed harmlessly through the distorted pockets of the altered reality. Cox's voice crackled over the communication system. "Captain, core output is increasing. We can push the distortion array further, but the grid will become unstable if we overload it." West's thoughts were racing. The firepower of the AI fleet was ruthless, but he saw an opportunity, a crazy, reckless plan that only humanity could undertake. Cox redirected all auxiliary power to the spatial array, and the ship entered full harmonic mode. The ship trembled as its energy source surged, emitting a deep rumble that seemed to shake the very fabric of space. The Sky vessel rushed into the very heart of the enemy formation, twisting the space around it like a space blade. Commander West ordered the array to be reconfigured, targeting everything. Wong synchronized the output fields, channeling raw spatial energy into a focused pulse, activating reality recomposition. With a brilliant cascade of distorted light, the Celestial Odyssey unleashed all its might. The surrounding space exploded in a fractal storm of rearranged matter and energy. The enemy ships were heavily displaced. Some appeared kilometers away. Others were sent into gravitational anomalies that did not exist moments earlier. The pride of the Empire collapsed under the onslaught. Its once impenetrable shields crumbled like wet paper. Grand Admiral Plum Star's voice crackled through the intermittent communications. "Abominations, the reality is ours, not yours." West's voice cuts through a cold and harsh reality that doesn't care who commands it. With the final spatial rift, the pride of the Empire twisted to starboard, and the skeleton collapsed into an imploding rift. The great flagship of the Avirian Dominion disappeared in a cascade of shimmering debris, leaving behind a distorted scar in the void. The The surviving Xyler ships were disoriented and defeated, retreating in chaotic jumps through hyperspace. Those who could still fly faster than light stopped firing. West ordered, his voice calm but firm as the last hostile signatures faded. Silence filled the command bridge. The ship's systems quieted down to a low, triumphant hum. West requested a status report. Cox's voice sounded tired but triumphant. The integrity of the structure is preserved. The spatial grid is somehow stable. Wong, still stunned by the impossible readings, added, "We need to redefine physics." Captain Ritter leaned back and wiped the sweat from his forehead. West breathed a sigh of relief, feeling the adrenaline drain from his body. He sent a message to the Terra command. "The battle is over. We won. I suggest you send a polite note of thanks to the averers," with a bow. The spaceship continued its journey to a peaceful conclusion.